But the moment that he needed that moral support, it failed him. Because equally, he was at that stage of finding that wallet with $200 in it when he was being kicked out of his house. That's where he was emotionally.
He kept the $200.
He kept it. And he said, I don't have the luxury of being able to be generous at this time.
Yeah.
And what happened then, once people realized, I don't blame him. I don't blame him. I'm with him. I don't blame him. Oh no, he's starting to hurt people. Well, you're on that spiral. Rob a bank, make crystal meth. You're trying to become someone you are not. And by doing so, you are creating situations that would not have occurred in the natural universe for yourself. And you are out of your element. And when you are out of your element, bad things can happen. Let's go rob a bank.
We should. Are you willing to use
squirt guns?
I was going to say crossbows.
Bright orange or bright green squirt guns.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Filled with acid. So in my faith tradition, there's all kinds of incredibly beautiful writings about how art is the same as prayer, that the creation of art is the same as worship. So there's a blank page and there's a beautiful painting that you put on it. Or a poem that you write on it. There's a blank stage and there's a dance piece or a play that you put on it. There's an empty, quiet room and there's a symphony you create or a jazz riff that you create or a hip hop rhyme that you create that is an emulation of the divine impulse toward constant creation. Plants, flowers, birds, star systems, black holes, the Big Bang, this constant kind of creativity of the universe is an emulation of that divine spark. And and it's funny because when I was a kid, I read Franny and Zooey by J.D. Salinger, and they talk about that in there. Zooey tells Franny, like, be God's actor, like do it for God, do it for the fat lady. And this kind of idea that there can be a kind of spiritual impulse toward being an artist. And I love the idea that prayer isn't necessarily like, oh God, please protect me, blah, blah, blah. But that painting something beautiful, it also is a service, right? Like I'm sure you hear it all the time. I hear people like, oh my God, The Office meant so much to me. I watched it over and over. It made me laugh. And my mom was having cancer and blah, blah, blah. And you hear that same thing from people. You paint something beautiful. You hang it on the wall. There's a service. The beauty for the eye. So there's a service component in art too, which has a divine component to it. And I'm just wondering if you've ever felt that connection. I don't mean it in an arrogant way, like I'm doing God's work as an actor, but is there a transcendent mystery in the act of creation where for an actor, there is a piece of paper with some words on it. And here's my lines as Otto the baker, and I've got to make these 3 lines come to life in some way. And there's something kind of mysterious and miraculous about that.
Suspension of belief or allowing the belief system to go off on its own. The first time I ever had that experience, I was doing a soap opera in New York called Loving. And I didn't have, although I was 25 years old and I was working as a series regular on this show, and I didn't have the greatest respect for the medium. It seemed kind of, well, it was definitely redundant by nature, but also just kind of boring, and it wasn't really stimulating. And I took the job because I needed a job, and I found it very challenging. But to speak to your question, around Christmas time, some of the cast members and we went to retirement homes, these assisted living facilities, and to say, have a happy holiday and sing a song or two, or a Christmas carol or whatever. And I was so surprised. This was the the perfect audience for us. I mean, it was our wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And they are there watching. This is in the day
Mm-hmm.
in 1983
Mm-hmm.
when there is no VCRs. You watch it live or you don't watch it.
Yeah.
And soap operas were a big thing. And I actually had people commenting, "Oh, you're Doug. Oh, I love watching you. It makes my day," and all these things. And it dawned on me at that moment,
Yeah.
oh, so there is some intrinsic value to just telling a story. It doesn't even have to be a great story, but taking the time to tell it is enough,
And to try and tell it well.
and to try to tell it the best you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's sweet.
Have you ever felt some kind of muse or divine wind in the creation of a character or a moment on stage?
I've felt wind within a character, but it wasn't divine at
Breaking
all.
wind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. I, I, I don't know. I think I'm willing to have those experiences.
Have you had those experiences with other pieces of art that you've witnessed? Because I have.
Yeah, you mean listening to a piece of music
Yeah.
and being transcended.
I
to-
remember seeing oh man, the boating party. Can you look up the boating party? Yeah, Renoir.
Oh, it's Renoir.
Is it called the boating party? Luncheon of the boating party.
So now
So
you
Yeah.
you go. It's the boating party by Renoir, and I believe I
Exactly.
saw it. Let's see how you're.
you get how that, you know how that works. It makes me look way smarter. Although sometimes in the edits, they won't do it. I'll be like, what's the thing? And they'll leave that in. It's like, no, you're supposed to cut that out and make me look smarter. I remember one time walking through a museum in Washington, D.C., and I like walked past a hallway and I turned and I literally did a double take, like the old, Marx Brothers.
Really?
Like I was like, and at the end of this hallway was Luncheon of the Boating Party by Renoir. It was sitting at the end of this hallway about 25 feet away. And it's French Impressionist. It's a bunch of people having wine and cheese and by the lake and whatnot. And it stopped me in my tracks. And I like to think that it was more than just the beauty of the painting itself. Like it was luminous. It was radiant. It spoke to me. It reached out and I was just like drawn in. It's almost like I had never seen a painting before. I was just like, oh, and I just walked down the hallway and just stood in awe of it. How can a painter take a bunch of like dabs of, oil and put it here and then make it seem like a scene, like as if you're in it. It's like a frame from a movie still.
And give it dimension.
And then not only that, and dimension and life and personality, every character had a personality, but then make it glow. How does light come out of a bunch of paint blobs on a canvas? And I had a profound spiritual transcendent experience seeing that painting that I'll never forget.
But what did it make? Did you put that into action, or was it just a sense of calm and peace?
It was more than that. I was utterly transported. It was wonder. It was awe. It was curiosity. It was, I was stunned by beauty. Sometimes we'll have that in nature. I know everyone can relate to seeing the Grand Canyon or being in the redwoods or whatever it is. And I was 15 minutes in front of that painting, and I'll never forget those 15 minutes. If you ever had anything remotely resembling that, and if you answer no, that means that you're an idiot.
I have those feelings a lot
With art?
With art, whether it's I go to in New York. I'm an apartment in New York, and we go to the museums all the time there. And I like impressionism is really speaks to me, as you were saying about Renoir and Monet and Manet and and Pissarro and there's so many that then that was the first where it's like it's sort of they're carrying a valise, I think, but I don't really know because I didn't really know.
But you
You know,
never
it's really being
but
honest,
you
I
never
think.
draw this thread to something kind of beyond the physical realm, something beyond
Well,
the material world of
I do does make you
molecules
want
and
no, I mean, looking at someone who does something extraordinarily well,
mm,
like a painter, or a musician, or a dancer, or a redwood, you can't help but think, "How did this all happen? This is stunning." There has to be a God. There has to be. How could how could this be created without thought?
mm,
Just by pure accident, and have that accident so attractive to those of us who are here. It's
mm,
like, is that a coincidence?
mm,
I don't think so.
mm. So how does your belief in this idea of God, does it impact your life at all?